Welcome back, everyone. Toy Shiz here, and we are back yet again for another San Diego Comic-Con 2025 early look. And today, it comes courtesy of my friends over at Mattel. We're going to be checking out their brand new Skele Shredder from their Masters of the Universe, the Turtles of Grayskull line, and from the WWE, the Ultimate Edition, The Champ is Here, John Cena. Now, for John here, who, depending on the viewer, you may or may not see him, but rest assured, he's somewhere here. We're just going to say that. But it does have a really nice packaging. It has John Cena on the sides, nice photo of John Cena, and then the backside is just a whole lot of purple with a logo. But it's what's inside that counts, because lo and behold, he definitely comes to life. A lot more than just the standard box there. But the Ultimate Edition, highly detailed action figure, John Cena. Again, nice photo of the character, the person. It's at that point, right? It's like everybody's just a character. Everybody's from made-up land. You even got a hole at the back of the box so you can properly hold the action figure. But no, I like the backside. You got a little bit of a bio for him. It tells you everything you need to know. John Cena, 6'1". I know him best as Peacemaker. We'll just say that. But you can see all the other John Cenas in the collection. But yes, I would say for all you WWE fans out there, this is definitely one you're going to want to grab, either on Mattel Creations or at San Diego Comic-Con. Now, next up, the final figure, the final boss from this action figure line. And of course, I'm talking about the Turtles of Grayskull. We have the Skele Shredder, and he has one heck of an awesome box. I will say this. For those of you who are packaging junkies, yeah, Mattel definitely knows what's up here. Here is everyone involved with the creation of this figure. You see how much time and effort goes into these things? Thank you very much for that. I'm really looking forward to checking this out because, again, the packaging really makes this figure. It's just a real cool looking highlight. It opens up, the mouth opens, and you get to see Skele Shredder just sitting on his bone throne with all the accessories that he comes with. And there are quite a few in the box, which is really cool. Again, you got the main throne, you got some weaponry, you have some skeleton faces and helmets and whatnot. This is going to be fun. I'm actually really looking forward to this. And also because I've just kind of collected the Turtles of Grayskull to myself, and I thought I was done. And then they go, oh, no, hey, here's a final San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. And if you're wondering how easy is it to just fold the box back up, bingo, just like that. And I'll show you exactly what you can do to hopefully not ruin it to take the figure out. But in the meantime, this is going to be an absolute blast. Sit back, relax, grab yourself a nice hot cup of coffee. This is a look at two brand new upcoming San Diego Comic-Con 2025 exclusives by Mattel. The Ultimate Edition, The Champ is Here, John Cena. And from the Turtles of Grayskull, the final figure of the line, the Skele Shredder. And right before we get started, I just want to say a quick thank you to everyone out there who continues to watch my videos. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't subscribed already, we'd love to have you. Old toys, new toys, daily news updates. Guarantee you'll find something here that you like. And with that being said, here is John Cena with all his accessories all out of the packaging. And speaking of the packaging, just a heads up. If you're one of those, you want to leave them in the packaging, this ain't for you. If you want to take them out, maybe you want to package them back up. It's a simple snip, sip, couple pieces of tape, but then you have some twisty ties you got to cut to pull them out. But it's real easy. You don't have to ruin the packaging. But he does come with a variety of hands, belt-grabbing hands, flashy hands, item-holding hand. You name a hand, he's got hands for days. And then he also has some really cool belts. 5, in fact. This one is my favorite because it kind of has a little spinny thing. That's pretty cool. I've never had a Mattel WWF, WWE belts. These are pretty fun. I'm actually really excited to check these out proper. They kind of remind me of old Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle belts in many ways. But the gold, the shininess, the attention to detail, the printing on it, everything is really legible. That's fun. That's cool to see. Sometimes with other toy companies, you really don't see that type of attention to detail, we'll just say. But hey, that's exciting. I totally dig it. And like I said, it's like you're a magpie. You know, you see a shiny thing, you're like, ooh, that's a shiny belt. That looks pretty cool. But again, I love the way that they just kind of connect. And realistically, because it's notched. You could put it on any figure you could pretty much imagine. You get a couple extra head portraits, both with hats. But this is the interesting thing right here. This one, it's a removable hat. Check that out. Can't say that's the greatest head portrait, though, if I'm being honest. There's better ones in the box. This guy's hat does not come off. So one removable hat that you can swap with the other portraits, but this one just stays on there. But I do like the screaming head. I think that that's fun. That will go with a lot of different setups. You got your rings and everything else. He's drawing the crowd. And yeah, like I said, you can put the hat on this one, for instance, which, yeah, just adds to the fun of interswapping and creating your own adventure. Then you have John Cena himself, which I gotta say, that is a fantastic head portrait from every angle. I was looking at that going, that's pretty well done. You even got the fade of the hair. He does come with this chain, and I would say this, for me, my own personal tastes, it's not a detriment to the figure by any means. I would like a real chain in this case. I think it would look better, but it's nicely done. It's all silver. And then you have the belt, the 5th belt, which pretty much this would be my second favorite of them. But like I said, the attention to detail, the quality, everything looks really nice here. The actual figure himself will have that usual WWE articulation, so there's nothing crazy. He does come with a soft goods t-shirt, which I think looks good. I think it's form-fitting. I think it works. It's got some nice graphics on there. Again, the printing detail is nice, which kind of goes south either way. No paint problems with this figure either. I would say that the jeans look worn and they're nicely done. Then you have his shoes. You've got the skin tone. Again, everything's painted. Everything looks good. Not a huge fan of some of the cuts on the articulation, if I'm being honest. But that's beside the point. If it looks good and it does all the wrestling moves you want to put him in, who cares? But you get plenty of articulation in the head. You have some butterfly joints and all those muscles that he's got right there. Just don't pinch the shirt within the articulation. But if you're wondering, because I know a lot of you out there were chomping at the bit, yes, the shirt is removable. Thank God, right? So we can see all his rippling pectorals. But that looks good. And again, you have that option of how you want to display him. But you get a little bit of an ab crunch in there. That's nicely done. The t-shirt does not hinder the articulation in any way. He even has the detail of the World Life boxer briefs right there, and a belt, and the legs. And one thing I did notice, and I wasn't aware of this at the time, but they have the drop-down hips, of which you can get some better leg articulation, and they just pop right back up. So that's pretty cool. I totally dig it. This is kind of the articulation that I was talking about right here. It's not the most attractive, but he is completely pinless. That's nice to see. You have toe articulation, peg holes on the bottom. I would say overall, for me, it's a cool looking action figure. I like all the swappable parts and pieces, most definitely. But for me, I would say for all you photographers out there, you can definitely bring John Cena to life on your toy shelves. From the belts to the hands to the various portraits, that hat, he looks great. Just all the belts, even the medallion, everything. Just load him up, and I think you'll be happy with this figure. And if you're wondering where to grab him, I will put all the information down in the description below so you don't have to worry about it. But for me personally, being a DC Multiverse fan, John Cena's in the DC Multiverse. He's Peacemaker. You can definitely have some fun photography shoots with this if you're so inclined. And I am curious to see what Mattel does with the DC license next year, that's for sure. And I know a lot of you out there were wondering, because I was definitely wondering, can you use the head portraits? The skin tones are not exactly going to match, but you can achieve this look of an unmasked, we'll say John Cena Peacemaker, if you so desire, which doesn't look that bad, but I digress. All the information on how, where, and when to grab this San Diego Comic-Con exclusive will be down in the description below. And the reason I'm doing that is because the last video I did, they changed the information, so we'll make it really easy. But yes, I will say, if you're a wrestling fanatic and you're a John Cena fiend, you'll definitely like this figure. Moving on now to the Turtles of Grayskull. I thought I was done. I thought I was all set, ready to go, was ready to do my full-on collection video of these things. And then they go, nope, we have one more San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. And he looks great. But let me tell you, as far as opening this, some of the tabs, and I would say go from the bottom. That's the way I ultimately did it. I think that would have been the better way to go regardless. One tab came out. The rest, I basically just sawed it off. I'm not going to keep the packaging. I was, and then I thought about it, and I went, nope, I'm going to enjoy the figure for what it is. But if you want to keep the packaging, you kind of have to figure it out. Go easy. Don't rip anything. I would say it's better to pull the figure out the bottom. Of course, you're going to have to deal with a bunch of twisty ties and such to cut. And so you're basically left with this. And this kind of folds out. Just make sure you grab all the parts and pieces. And Mattel, please stop taping material like soft goods material, the packaging. Don't do this to me. We're collectors here. We can't afford this type of excitement. But lo and behold, after you do all of that, here is everything taken out of the packaging. And again, while I love the packaging, I think it looks great, the figure is infinitely more fun. So if you don't have the room, take the figure out. Enjoy it. But you get a Bone Throne, a figure, and a Havoc staff. Well, a more turtle-rific, shredderized Havoc staff. I like the lime green. I like the blades sticking out. Nothing articulates, nothing moves. You have that massive universe type accessory, pole, purple, silvers, greens. You get the idea. It's pretty epic for a character like Skele Shredder. Now, it is a little bit oversized, but that's the whole point, and it may cause him some balancing issues from time to time, but it does look awesome once you get him going. Then you have the actual figure itself. Now, this is basically going to be a massive universe body with added parts and pieces as such. There's a couple new ones here and there. Largely, they're just kind of bands and add-on pieces, but you get the idea. The articulation is going to be something that you know and love if you're a Motu collector. You got a nice soft goods cape, black on one side, purple on the other. I'm glad they went that extra mile. Mine has some blemishes here and there. The folds and the creases, no, that's not their fault. But there's basically like some glue / tape residue on the cape. So just go easy when you're pulling it out of the packaging, just FYI. But I have to say, this is a fun character. The final boss, the face looks really cool. This is the one you're going to want to go with because it's on the comic book. Yes, this does come with a comic. Havoc is afoot. No, I'm not really into the whole comic book line for the Turtles of Grayskull. I kind of just love the figures. That's really where I'm at. But this would be the face that I would choose. And the comic is fun and it kind of gives you a backstory, kind of, sort of. It's all the Havoc staff's doing, I think. But like I said, you get some removable parts and pieces like these big old shredder gauntlets. Now they're bone with a little X23 action going on, and they simply just slip over the arms and onto the forearms. And I will tell you this figure, it looks great, but it can be kind of cumbersome when you want to pose them out. Once you get the poses going and everything else, because everything kind of moves on its own when you start posing this guy out. So just keep that in mind. Once you establish the pose, you're good to go. But yeah, everything wants to move on this figure when you want to articulate him. And then, yes, in true Master Universe Origins fashion, you can pull them apart and craft your own figure if you so desire. The knees, the legs, these are new boots here with the silver and then the bone protrusions. It's pretty cool. It's very different, but it's Skeletor and Shredder merged together. You even have this type of harness on the back, just FYI. You get plenty of articulation in the head with the hood, but in order to really achieve that look with the skull, with the hood, don't have him looking down. It kind of defeats the purpose of that. But it's the eyes. Make sure you get yourself a good painted one if you're on the Comic-Con floor, and you could ask him, just kind of look at it real fast and go, okay, yeah, I'll totally take that one. The head pops off, easy peasy. Swapping the heads with the hood is easy. I did run into a problem with some of the paint on the back of this kind of rubbed, and it seemingly was stuck on the back because it didn't cure correctly, unfortunately. So just keep that in mind on yours as well. It's probably just a one-off on mine. But yes, this little harness on the back, once you remove the head and the hood and everything else, will pop off. So you can customize them however you like. And what's fun is that the environment of the Bone Throne can be utilized as weaponry as well. I'll talk more about this in just a few, but the blades on the back of the throne can come off and thus attach them to the back of Skele Shredder. You're not going to be able to utilize the cape, of course, but he becomes a lot more deadly, especially since all of them are removable and all of them become deadly bladed melee weapons. So again, it's your call, however you'd like to display him. Hood on, hood off, whatever you would desire. But yes, it's just cool. And again, much like the John Cena figure, I like the customization ability that you have with this figure. But the figure is great and all, The Bone Throne is really where it's at. This thing is rad, and I can see a lot of people using this with their Master Universe collection. You get extra head portraits for Shredder, which are essentially alternate helmeted heads. You can see the difference between the two, kind of sort of based off the prior Shredder action figures we've seen for the line. This one right here, I'm going to have to heat it up because it's kind of cocked over to the side a little bit. So if you run into the problem with yours, just kind of heat it up and shape it back accordingly. With this head portrait right here, this one probably would be my least favorite. Again, it kind of harkens back to the prior released Shredder single figure, but it's just okay. It's really just kind of, yeah, I guess that's all right. This one, however, looks menacing. He kind of resembles past instances of action figures and cartoons of Shredders. So I kind of like that. You kind of see various looks within it. So that would definitely be my second favorite. On the Bone Throne itself, it comes with these tapestries, which is cool. This one is a nod to Skeletor and the Havoc staff. The material is nice, and they simply just peg into the base. This one obviously being for the Foot Clan, so it definitely represents the factions of Skeletor and Shredder. But they're just fun, and it's really cool if you have a fan going. It's kind of blowing. It just really adds to the fun of the Bone Throne. You can clearly see that he has two pegs right there, so you can peg him in while he's sitting down or have him standing up. You have these cool bone protrusions off to the side. You have his seat. I love that you have the option to then put the helmets on the side of the Bone Throne, and then all of the skeletal spiked out nature of the back. That is so cool. Not to worry, I'll talk about the gold head in just a few, but the backside has multiple articulation points of all these blades. So you could choose your own blade adventure. Have them up, have them down. It's your choice. You want them going up, and I think that that just looks cool overall. It's a bit hollow on the bottom, just FYI. You can use this with your Castle Grayskull or any of the other play sets, but it's this right here which looks oh so cool. This is actually articulated, it's well painted, and it looks menacing. And it's one of my favorite aspects of this entire set because, as I was saying, yeah, you kind of get 3 head portraits, but this is kind of like an Easter egg because this pops off, and yeah, you could use it as a 4th head portrait. And it looks, and again, reminds me of, let's say, the Ninja Turtles movie, the original, the best one, where the helmet was huge, or it just looks like a warlord Shredder, or it just works within the context of Master Universe, Turtles of Grayskull, and Shredder. You won't be able to utilize the hood, just FYI, but at this point, who cares? But just having this gold head portrait with the Havoc staff seated on the throne, heck yeah, that's a proper setup. And again, to really end on a high note with this line, the throne, Shredder, everything else, he's all pegged in. He sits really nicely. If you don't like Skele Shredder, you can use him with the other Master Universe figures. It definitely works to what you want to use it for. And for those wondering, if you just want to have it be ornate with no head on top of it, you can do that as well. But truth be told, while the gold helmet looks fantastic, nothing beats just looking at this in totality. The 2 helmets on either side, you got Skele Shredder seated right in the middle. Again, the Havoc staff, the banners, everything. That is a lot of fun. And just for Skele Shredders and giggles, I want to see how well this thing all holds together. And look at that. You can turn this all the way upside down. Nothing falls off. Nothing goes to pieces. Heck yeah, that's a well-sturdied figure. Now, for those of you wondering, and yes, I will be doing now an entire complete collection video for Turtles of Grayskull, so I haven't opened the prior Shredder or the Super Shredder, but you can kind of see how he fits between all of this because in the comic they mention, okay, on to the Snake Men. But the fun, for those of you wondering, is that if you have Castle Grayskull or Snake Mountain or Eternia and you're utilizing all of these for your Turtles of Grayskull line, yes, the Skele Shredder throne will fit nicely in your Castle Grayskull. Pretty much all the play sets, if I'm being honest. But all of these characters, now all the weirdo-looking mashups that they did for Turtles of Grayskull, and coming soon, like I said, I'm excited to open up all these figures and really look at this line as a whole because it was fun. This was a fun line, and just the idea at first, I was kind of on the fence, but it grew on me after a while. I'll talk more in detail, but yes, to have this as the final figure, heck Yeah. So that's going to wrap it up for my quick look at 2 brand new upcoming Mattel San Diego Comic-Con 2025 exclusives. On the wrestling side, the champ is here, John Cena Ultimate action figure. And for the Turtles of Grayskull, the final action figure in the line, the Skele Shredder with his Bone Throne. I recommend both. I think they're fun. If you're a wrestling fan, John Cena, it's a no-brainer. But if you're a Turtles of Grayskull fan and you want to complete the line, well, look no further. These will be available at the Mattel booth on the con floor and on Mattel Creations starting July 24th. I'll put all the details down in the description below so you don't have to worry in case anything changes. It'll just be there. But again, thank you to Mattel. Thank you so much for you being here watching this. And until the next one, I will catch you guys soon. Adios.